Is the art of chivalry canceled in today's society? Has the lack of courtesy affected buying black?
We've always lived in a society where civility was a challenge. However, in the last 8 years, ever since Agent Orange was president, civility has gone out the door. People believe and think they can do and say anything they want, and you just have to take it, because if you fight back, then you're a villain.
Vice President Kamala Harris was interviewed on Fox News and claimed former President Donald Trump threatened to use the military against Americans he calls the enemy within.
You and I both know that he has talked about turning the American military on the American people.
So let's verify. We checked multiple interviews that Trump gave to Fox News Channel and found he actually said this multiple times, including twice last week. Here's what Trump said on October 13th in response to a question about whether he expects chaos on Election Day.
I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military, because they can't let that happen.
Trump then reiterated his comments during a taped town hall with Fox News' Harris Faulkner on October 16th.
They're very, very different. And it is the enemy from within, and they're very dangerous.
Trump has talked about using the military against Americans he called the enemy from within. His running mate, J.D. Vance, downplayed the remarks.
Would a Trump administration use the military to go after people who oppose Donald Trump?
Oh, of course not. Of course not.
While campaign spokesperson Stephen Chung, in a statement to Verify, said President Trump is 100% correct. Those who seek to undermine democracy by sowing chaos in our elections are a direct threat.
You're not a villain. You just have standards and, won't allow people to talk and treat you any kind of way. The Bible says it is better, you draw more with honey than you do vinegar. A soft word turns away wrath. So, in being kind and civil, you can avoid a lot of pitfalls. Situations can be remedied. I know when my kids were younger, they taught them conflict resolution, which to me was a form of civility. Taught them how to not overreact to hard ships. And civility is a must. We are supposed to be the world's most civilized nation. However, if you look at our nation, there's nothing civil about it. We don't like people who are different from us.
So Spank and I were talking earlier and, just about, because you keep saying we, and it's like your kind of connection with the black community, but you're Cuban.
I'm black first.
Yeah.
I'm black first.
So
what
I
always
ask,
tell people,
how you identify
but
yourself.
Are you full Cuban? I'm full Cuban.
I thought he was black too.
I know,
but I am black.
No, everyone thinks that you are
okay,
the black lineage.
All right, let me explain how it works. This is another thing that I feel like we as black people get caught up in, that
semantics
that separates us as opposed to uniting us. We get caught up in where the ship dropped us off versus where the ship picked us up. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We all come from the same root. It's just a tree with different branches. The same boat that picked up your ancestors picked up my ancestors. Only they dropped yours off here. They made a pit stop in the Caribbean and dropped mine off. Mm-hmm. But my ancestors still dealt with slavery. Mm-hmm. Still dealt with being, having their family and their lives ripped from them and having to come back from colonialism and slavery. Mm-hmm. So it's not just African Americans, it's Afro-Cubans, it's Afro-Dominicans, it's Afro-Puerto Ricans. Like, all these people got to get out of their colonialized minds and stop thinking, oh, I'm not this, I'm this. Okay, yeah, you can be Latin, but you're black first.
And the separatism that takes us apart when we all have the same struggle. We all experience 100%, the same struggle.
Because when I walk into a room, they ain't thinking, oh, we're going to give him a pass because he's Latin. Yeah. Or if a cop pulls me over, he's not like, oh, okay, I'm not going to shoot him or I'm not going to beat his ass because he's Cuban. Mm-hmm. No, I'm black. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I'm dealing with the same struggle. So we all gotta unite and fight for the struggle together because we're all dealing with the exact same struggle.
We don't like people who don't speak our language, we have an intolerance for difference. And it has always been my attitude that what people cannot control, they destroy. So, in the case of being civil, we look at the world, and any time something is not the way we like for it to be, especially in particular groups of people, they go out of their way to destroy it, which is not just uncivilized, it's all undemocratic too. It's not. There's no democracy when you have no civility.
Has the lack of courtesy affected buying black?
Yes. The answer is yes. And it's yes because too often when you try to support people in the black community, they will take advantage of you. They overprice things. If you hire somebody to do the work, sometimes they're not only is the job overpriced, but they never complete the work. I would prefer to deal with people that were black. However, even when you go in stores, if they're black young people, they have an attitude.
Welcome to Kentucky Fried Chicken. May I help you, please?
Yeah. You know what? I think we should eat somewhere else.
Yeah, let me have a 2-piece meal with fries. Yeah, 2-piece all white with fries. Right, so make that 3 2-piece with fries and a Colonel's meal.
White meat or dark?
You want white meat?
I want white meat.
Yeah, he wants white meat.
We don't have any white meat today.
Then why did you ask?
And nobody wants to spend money with anybody who is negative or has an attitude or any of those things that make it our challenge to you have a relationship with them.
Cherish those who seek the truth, but beware of those who find it.
Well, I'm looking at it from 2 lenses. One is the lens of service, and I love the question because when we asked the question, it made me think about my interactions with our people in the arena of service, which is similar to what happens in black business. And one of the issues I have with, I want to patronize black business. I'm willing to sometimes drive a little further to chop it up with my own financially. And I'm willing to spend a little more if necessary for service. But where I draw the line is on professionalism, and I draw the line on respect. Because one thing that we have to understand about our people is that when we talk about black people, it doesn't matter whether they're here or anywhere in the world. Oppressed people take their problems wherever they go. And we always have to be cognizant of that. So I try and make myself I remind myself I'm in this category. I'm a black person. I'm taking my blackness everywhere I go. There's some tremendously positive aspects of it. We know what they are in terms of our spirituality, maybe in terms of the positive things about our melanin, the way we're able to process and receive media and those type of things, which makes us phenomenal artists and all that. But in terms of a social situation where we find ourselves maybe only 1/2 or 1% of all the wealth in the country, there's a lot of enmity, jealousy, hostility that we take everywhere that we go. And I try and be as cognizant as possible to I try and treat everyone, but particularly my own, as best as I can, because I know the trauma that they're dealing with. And I was, even during the pandemic, as I was going to different places and seeing that there was somebody that actually came to work that day, I started telling people, thank you for showing up. Mm-hmm. I appreciate the fact that you're here. And sometimes you can see them kind of a little more cheery, a little more positive, a little more upbeat because that feedback. And I do more of that now since I have more time. Wherever I go, there's certain places I go, I mess with the people there. There's a guy at that Walgreens. He's tall, and I said, us big fellas got to stick together. As soon as I come in there, he starts yelling out. Because it's like a report. If I'm going to see you on a regular basis, our people, we're going to chop it up. Yep. Try and be as positive as possible, try and uplift the day, because you never know. There may be days I may come in here.